So dear students, now let me discuss about physical pendulum. Okay. Still I was discussing about some pendulums which are actually point mass. Like we have discussing about simple pendulum, and this simple pendulum was formed by a length massless wire and a point particle attached at the end of that wire, and that was hanging from a fixed point, and we have created a very easily simple pendulum. But here we are now interested to discuss about physical pendulum, and here the pendulum is actually a rigid body. It is just a rigid body. It can be of any shape, of whatever shape, and is capable of oscillating about a horizontal axis passing through it. And here the horizontal axis is passing through the point O. You can see this is a horizontal axis. Okay, and this rigid body is oscillating about this point. So I have taken initially the body was at this position, and the center of gravity was there. Now it is displaced towards right, then the center of gravity will also be displaced with the body from this point to this point. And when the body is displaced to this point, whole body is displaced. I have not seen in the figure, whole body is displaced, but you can see I have shown you only the G, that is the center of gravity. The center of gravity was initially here, and after some times it will go to this point. Okay, when we will give a certain jerk to it, then it will displace from this point and it will execute its harmonic motion. And the harmonic motion would be simple harmonic if this theta is very small, and we will use this stick over here also. And the pendulum is called physical pendulum in the sense that here the pendulum is a rigid body itself, but in case of simple pendulum we use just a particle which is hanging with the help of a massless wire from the ceiling. So here we know always that when the simple harmonic motion will take place only under a restoring force, but here as we have used the rigid body, so we will use the angular oscillation. So here a restoring torque is required, and the restoring torque will generate by this component of force mg. Okay, mg sin theta, the component of weight, because about this point O, this mg cos theta will not produce any torque, because the line of action or the force acting on the line, if we draw the line of action, then it will pass through the point O. So it will not generate any torque, but the only force that will generate torque is mg sin theta. Okay, now how much torque it will generate? It is measured by the force and the perpendicular distance from this force to this point about which the angular motion or the harmonic motion will take place. Here actually this harmonic motion is a part of the angular motion or this rigid body rotation, part of this rigid body rotation. Okay, so if this distance is L, then the torque acting over here tau. Okay, so we can write over here that torque acting on the rigid body, on the body about the point O, is tau is equals to force into perpendicular distance. So force here is mg sin theta and the perpendicular distance is L. So it will be mg L sin theta. It will be mg L sin theta. But here the body is rotating actually in anti-clockwise sense, okay, where the torque acting over here will produce in clockwise sense. So here is a minus sign, okay, so this is a restoring torque, okay. Now if we assume that the harmonic motion, the amplitude of this harmonic motion is small, then sin theta will be almost equal to theta. Okay, we have used this condition before also when we talk about simple pendulum, and here also we will put this condition. Okay, so in that condition, taking this condition, we will get the restoring torque as tau is equals to minus mg L into theta. Okay, so now if we use the moment of inertia of this rigid body, and let me take the moment of inertia of this rigid body about the point O is I. Okay, so if the moment of inertia is I, then we know that tau is equals to I alpha, where alpha is the angular acceleration. So I alpha is equals to minus mg L theta. So alpha will be mg L divided by I into theta. So now if we compare this equation with angular SHM, general equation of angular SHM, that is alpha is equals to minus omega square theta. As for linear SHM, we know that A was minus omega square x. So here instead of A, we will use alpha. Okay, this is actually the rotational form of A, and theta is actually the rotational form of x. This is the linear displacement, this is the angular displacement. This is the linear acceleration, this is the angular acceleration. So if in the sense of simple harmonic motion or the linear simple harmonic motion, the general equation of acceleration or the force is A equals to minus omega square x or ma equals to minus m omega square x. Here also we will get a similar kind of relation, that is alpha is equals to minus omega square theta. Okay, so here also we will get omega, comparing these two equations, we will get omega square is equals to mgl divided by I. So here also omega square is equals to mgl divided by I, which implies that omega is equals to root mgl divided by I. Okay, so what will be t? The time period of this oscillation will get that time period t is equal to nothing but 2 pi by omega. So it will be 2 pi root I divided by mgl. So this is simply the time period of the physical pendulum, which have mass m and the distance between the point of suspension and the center of gravity is L. Okay, and G is nothing but the gravitational acceleration, and I is the moment of inertia of this body about the axis passing through O, that is the horizontal axis, and about this axis the rotational motion, that is the part of the rotational motion or the harmonic motion, is taking place. So now we are interested about the moment of inertia. What will be the moment of inertia in terms of radius of gyration? Okay, if we use the if you use the parallel axis theorem, then we will get it in terms of L. Okay, so if the moment of inertia about the center of gravity is Ig, if the moment of inertia about the center of gravity is Ig, and the moment of inertia we have defined earlier is I about the axis passing through O. So now what is the relation between Ig and I? We will get from the parallel axis theorem that I is nothing but Ig plus ml square, because the distance or the perpendicular distance between O and G is nothing but L. So I must be equal to Ig plus ml square. So this is just from the parallel axis theorem. But now we can calculate Ig in terms of the radius of gyration, the definition of radius of gyration, we know if a axis that is passing through G, okay, if we consider a axis which is passing through G, then the moment of inertia about that axis, that is Ig, we know is mk square. So we can write over here Ig as mk square, where k is the radius of gyration plus ml square. So I is nothing but mk square plus ml square, that is I equals to m into k square plus l square. So now if we substitute this I in the equation, this, let me take this equation as equation 1, t is equals to 2 pi root over I divided by mgl, then what will be the form of the time period? Then the form of the time period will be what? T will be equals to 2 pi root over I is m into k square plus l square divided by mgl. So m will be cancel out, so it will be 2 pi root over k square plus l square divided by l. So this will be the time period. So still I have get t is equals to 2 pi root over k square plus l square divided by l. Now let me put it in a more general way. I think there was a g, okay, so in denominator there will be g also, lg, okay. So now let me put it in a more general way, that is t is equals to 2 pi root over l plus k square by l divided by g. Okay, let me put it in this form. Now if we take this as this l plus k square divided by l as l effective, then we will get t is equals to 2 pi root over l effective divided by g. Okay, so now this expression is similar to the expression of t is equals to 2 pi root over l by g, which we have already get for the simple pendulum of length l. So now the time period of the physical pendulum, the expression of the time period of the physical pendulum is looking like same, okay, not actually same, but is looking, the expression is looking same as for the time period of the simple pendulum if we take l effective as l plus k square divided by l. So we can talk that the physical pendulum is nothing but a pendulum of length l plus k square by l, then the time period of these two things will be same, that is the physical pendulum and the simple pendulum. In that sense they are similar of the effective length k square plus l square by l or k square by l plus l. Okay, now an important thing is that if we again write this l effective as this is l plus k square divided by l, that can be written as l square plus k square divided by l. Now here k square is always positive, okay, so k square is always positive here. So if k square is always positive, then what will be the thing? The length of the equivalent simple pendulum is always greater than or equal to l. Okay, the length of the equivalent simple pendulum, that means this l effective, this is the length of the equivalent simple pendulum, and this will always greater than l because this k square is always greater than 0, this is always positive. So l effective is always greater than l, the length of the simple pendulum. Okay, this is a very important thing about this time period. Now let me talk more things about this time period t, and when this time period is minimum and when this time period is maximum, etc. So now the next thing is, the important thing is, there is a point on the other side of the center of gravity of the physical pendulum. Let me draw the diagram again. Okay, so this was our diagram of physical pendulum, and let me, this is O, okay, and this was the center of gravity G, this is O. Okay, now there is a point O dash on the other side of G, that is at a distance, suppose this is O dash, and when if we take this distance as k square divided by L, then this point O dash is called center of oscillation. Center of oscillation. This is called center of oscillation if about this point the time period t0 prime is equal to the time period t0. T0 means the initial time period t, which is 2 pi root over L effective divided by G. So there is a point O dash in the opposite side of O from the center of gravity G at a distance k square divided by L. About that point the time period will be same as the time period at about the point O, when the point of suspension is O. So in that case, this point O prime, which is at a distance k square by L from the center of gravity G, is called the center of oscillation. Okay, so this is a very important thing. Now if we go to the another point, another important point, that is when this time period t will be maximum and when this time period t will be minimum. Here the time period is actually t is equals to 2 pi root over k square divided by L plus L divided by G, that is L effective by G, or we can write it as a root k square plus L square divided by Lg. Now if we take the first derivative, that is dt over dl is equals to 0, then the value of L, then the value of L will be k. If we take the derivative, then it is very easy to find this. If you take the derivative one time, then it can be shown that it is very easy. You can do the calculation. So it will give you the result that L is equals to k. And now if we take again derivative with respect to L, that is d2 t dl2, then we will find that at this point L is equals to k, this d2 t dl2 comes out to be positive, that is greater than 0. So we can conclude from the basic things of calculus that at this point, or at this value, for this value of L, that is k, the time period will be minimum, t will be minimum, and that minimum time period will be what? And that minimum time period will be t minimum is equals to root over k square plus k square divided by kg. Okay, that is 2 k square by kg. 2 pi was there. Okay, so 2 pi root over 2k divided by g. So that will be the minimum time period. And what will be the maximum time period? And maximum time period will be infinity when L equals to 0. And when L tends to 0, then t tends to infinity, and that will be the maximum time period. That is what we actually mean by this t equals to infinity. This actually means that there is no restoring torque. Okay, there is no restoring torque, and that's why its time period will be infinity. And this is the obvious thing actually, because the pendulum is then in a state of neutral equilibrium. Okay, and when the pendulum is in neutral equilibrium, when L tends to 0, then the pendulum will be when L tends to 0 means it will be in its neutral equilibrium. This L tends to 0 means this is actually L. Okay, this is actually L. Okay, now this L tends to 0, it means that it will be in neutral equilibrium, that is center of gravity and this point of suspension will be the same point. So in that case the body will be in neutral equilibrium, and for neutral equilibrium there will be no restoring force, and when there will be no restoring force, then obviously the time period will be infinity, and that will be the maximum time period. Okay, so this is all about the physical pendulum, okay, which is actually sometimes it can also be said compound pendulum, in the sense that this is the calculation or the theory involving with this is physics is actually more complicated than the thing of simple pendulum. So it can be sometimes called also that it is compound pendulum. Okay, so thank you.